Okay. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Committee of Adjustment meeting for Thursday, July 30th at 9 a.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Our first order of business would be to welcome Dave Grant to our committee. Our next order of business will be to appoint a new chair. If I can please have a motion to appoint a new chair.
I'd like to motion to appoint Michael as the chair.
Wonderful. And seconder? All in favor?
Yep.
Carried.
All right. Thank you very much. I'm pleased to act as chair, and now we can continue the meeting according to the agenda. The third item after appointment of chair is disclosure of any pecuniary interest or conflict of interest by anyone. Does anyone have anything to disclose?
None.
Hearing nothing, then we'll proceed to the next item, number 4, discussion about the minutes. I think there were some minor amendments to be made. And Cindy's going to speak to that, I think.
Yes, the minutes need to have amendments under item 4.1. We'll be changing it to the word to. It used to say with. Under item 5, there were 2 inquiries from Orca and from, or pardon me, 2 inquiries from the public, from Orca and from township staff, but they had no concerns. That will be amended. Item 6 will reflect that there were questions from neighbors regarding that. So if I can have a motion to amend the minutes.
I'll move.
I can second that.
I don't know if this chair, I should be moving anything, should I?
No, you can.
Okay.
Perfect. All in favor?
Carried. So that was a motion to amend the minutes, correct?
Correct.
So now we need a motion to accept the minutes as
They're
amended.
approved. Sorry. They're approved as amended. I
Okay.
apologize for that. It's a combined motion. It's approved as amended.
Very good. Okay, then we'll move on to the next item of business, which is the main reason we're here, the report on the application that we've received. And is it Elena that's going to speak to that, or?
Christina is going to speak to that, yes.
Sorry, Christina. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, committee members, and those of you joining us on our online public meeting. This is the public meeting for minor variance application MV-05-20, and the committee has before them planning report number 2020-21. Elena, if you could go to page 10 of the agenda, please. Sorry, Cindy.
That's okay.
The application applies to lands located at 2274 Howden Quarter Line as shown on attachment number 1 to this report. The application was applied for by Rob and Marianne Hooten. The application was received by the township on June 26, 2020 and deemed complete on July 16, 2020. If you'd like to go to page 11. The variance is requested in order to permit the addition of a new covered porch and stairs and to recognize the existing front yard setback for the existing dwelling and attached garage. The building location plan showing the location of the house, garage, and porch and stairs is provided as attachment number 2 to this report. The subject property is an existing farm parcel developed with a century farmhouse, attached garage, and several barns. The property has approximately 230 meters of frontage on Howden Quarter Line, has a depth of approximately 1,415 meters and a total lot area of 42 hectares. The property also abuts Mount Pleasant Road and Hooten Drive. The owners of the property wish to add a covered porch to the existing dwelling. At its closest point, the existing dwelling and attached garage are located 3.56 meters from the front lot line. The existing dwelling and attached garage are considered to be legal non-conforming. The proposed porch will wrap around the east and south walls of the dwelling. At its closest point, the porch will be located approximately 1.2 meters away from the front lot line. If you wanted to go to page 12, Cindy, please. The property is zoned agricultural, natural linkage, and natural core. The existing buildings are located within the agricultural zone, which permits a single detached dwelling and agricultural uses. As mentioned previously, the subject property abuts 3 separate roads: Mount Pleasant Road to the north, Hooten Drive to the south, and Howden Quarter Line to the east. When a property abuts more than one road, bylaw number 2018-58 as amended, which is the township's comprehensive zoning bylaw, defines the frontage to be the shorter lot line that abuts the street, while the longer lot lines that abut the street are deemed to be the exterior lot lines. In this case, the lot line abutting Howden Quarter Line is the shortest of the 3 roads and is therefore considered to be the front lot line. Zoning bylaw number 2018-58 as amended requires a minimum front yard setback of 30 meters. The bylaw permits porches, landings, and steps to project 1.5 meters into the front yard. As proposed, and due to the existing deficient front yard setback of the house and garage, the porch and steps will encroach 27.3 meters into the front yard and will only be set back 1.2 meters from the front lot line. A minor variance is required to permit the increased projection into the front yard as it applies to the covered porch and steps. The minor variance will also recognize the existing front yard setback for the dwelling and attached garage. So the variance is required to increase the maximum front yard encroachment for the porch and steps in the agricultural zone from 1.5 meters to 27.3 meters, and to reduce the minimum front yard setback for the existing house and attached garage from 30 meters to 3.56 meters. All other standard regulations of the agricultural zone will apply to the subject property. Notice of this application was circulated by first-class prepaid mail to all assessed persons within 60 meters of the subject lands, to all required ministries and agencies, and to all township department directors. A sign was posted on the subject property, and notice of the public meeting was posted on the township website. The notice complies with the requirements of the Planning Act. To date, the planning department has not received any written comments about the proposed variance from members of the public. Township staff had no objections to the application. And Peterborough Public Health had no objection to the application, but have requested a condition that the owner apply and be approved for an existing sewage system permit prior to the issuance of a building permit. Also, subsequent to the posting of today's agenda and not included in the planning report, the Otonabee Region Conservation Authority commented that they did not have any concerns with the proposed variance, stating that the application is consistent with section 3.1 of the provincial policy statement, which references natural hazards, and sections 2.1 and 2.2 of the provincial policy statement, referencing natural heritage and water. It was also consistent with sections 4.2.3 and 4.2.4 of the growth plan, referencing key hydrologic features and key hydrologic areas and key natural heritage features, as well as lands adjacent to these features. Orca indicated that permits will not be required from their agency for the proposed development, and neither is the property within an area that is subject to the policies contained in the Trent Source Protection Plan. So as presented to you today, Planning Report 2020-21 provides an analysis of the proposal and concludes the application satisfies section 45 of the Planning Act, which outlines the 4 tests the application must have regard to in order for the committee to authorize a minor variance from the provisions of the bylaw. Report 2020-21 recommends that the Committee of Adjustment review and consider all verbal and written comments received regarding this application, and that the committee approve application minor variance -05-20 with the condition that the owner applies and is approved for an existing sewage system permit prior to the issuance of a building permit if required. I believe the applicant, Rob Hooton, may be joining us today, should there be any questions or comments relating to the application. And with that, I will turn the application back to Chairman Semple for any questions from the committee and the public.
Number 6 is correspondence received, but I think you already addressed that, haven't you? Or is there any other correspondence that we need to recognize? You mentioned Orca. Was there anything else?
No, there's no other additional correspondence that was received with respect to the application.
All right.
Yep, we did have a clarification from the health unit regarding that condition.
Yes.
So that's why we've included it, and we have the language if required. So they would require it.
All right, then we'll move on to number 7, questions or comments from the committee. Do any of the members have any questions at this point?
I just had a quick question. I just wondered, do we know, I guess, I presume there was at one time an existing porch there. Do we know if the proposed porch is similar in size to the porch that at one time existed?
I'm not sure if the applicant is present, but in my discussions with the applicant, I think there were previously, you can actually, if anyone was able to do a site visit, you could see some of the remnants of the previous porch on the house. So I think what they had wasn't one full porch, it was several different porches. This is a century home. I think it was built in 1898. So they were torn down over time as they were falling down. And this porch will be larger, I believe, than the previous porches. And the fact that it also wraps around, which wasn't previously on the house.
Any other questions?
Just one other quick one, Christina. I guess it did look to me, I did go by the site. And just to clarify, so Howden Quarter Line, it's not actually a fully serviced road all the way through to Mount Pleasant, is that right?
That's correct. So that road dead ends just after the second and only other house on that stretch of road. Through discussions with the Director of Public Works, they indicated that there are no plans to open that road further. As you travel beyond, there's a significant wetland to the north that before it meets Mount Pleasant Road. So it just dead ends, and there's no plans to either further the road or widen the road as per the Township Public Works Director.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the committee? I had just one question following off Aaron's first question. The previous porches, did they occupy the same footprint that this new one is going to?
I'm going to speak on behalf of.
You mentioned different, a number of different porches, but
Yes.
I'm wondering if it's essentially the same footprint.
I'm going to speak on behalf of the applicant. I don't believe it's exactly the same footprint, no.
All right. And how long ago were those decks there?
I can't answer that question.
And presumably before the current bylaw, I would think.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, the new bylaw was approved in 2018, and I think they had been taken down prior to that.
And is that the reason that they need a minor variance now? It's because that bylaw came into effect in the interim?
Well, partly because this house is such a historic century home that it was constructed long before there were any bylaws in the township, I believe. So when the porch was on the home back in the day, there were really no bylaws in place. Now this bylaw and the fact that the property has 3 road frontages. If Howden Quarter Line had been the exterior lot line, there would be a much more reduced exterior side yard setback. Just the fact that by the definition that Howden quarter line is considered the front lot line, it increases the setback. So for all purposes, really, when you look at the property, you would think that Houghton is more the front lot line, but by definition, we have to consider Howden quarter line. And I think it's just a combination of being a century home, having an exterior lot line and a front lot line on a dead end road that makes this a unique situation.
Right. So they're not removing existing deck now.
No, there's
Yes.
nothing on the home at present.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions from the committee? Then I'll ask for, sorry, go ahead, Aaron.
No other questions.
Then I'll ask for any questions from members of the public who are joining us. Any members of the public? Not hearing anything, then we'll move on to number 9, the consideration of the application. Anyone have any further comments regarding the application? If none, then I will ask for a motion to approve it in accordance with the recommendations from the planning.
Yeah, I would like to motion to approve the application with the condition of the permit for the sewage system being applied for and approved.
Anyone need a seconder?
I'll
Dave?
second that.
That would be Dave seconding it. All in favor? Unanimous? It's passed. Now I would ask, since that was our only item of business today, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
I can do that.
Dave?
I'll second that.
All right, we're adjourned. Thank you.